Come to CVS for immunity support. From hand wipes to vitamins that are third-party tested. Plus free flu shots for the whole family. Visit CVS today. No-cost flu shots with most insurance. Restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com and cvs.com/tested for details.
Welcome to the Oh Hell No podcast, where I, Keisha Nicole, delivers a daily dose of passion, purpose, and struggle by interviewing people who are living their best life doing what they love. Here on this podcast, every Oh Hell No moment serves a purpose. Now let's get started with the show. Okay, welcome to another episode of the Oh Hell No podcast. Today I have Kadia Francis. She is a blogger, podcaster, digital content creator, and brand development strategist. And she is telling the story of Jamaicans in the tech and digital space. Welcome to the show, Kadia.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm excited to talk to you. I love your podcast, Digital Jamaica Podcast.
Thank you.
Yes, you are in my homeland, right? My parents are born and raised in Jamaica. I was born here, but you know, I'm a Jamaican at heart, honey, and you know, nobody can tell me different.
All are welcome. All are welcome.
Of course. So let me start with this. COVID and Jamaica. How are you surviving COVID in Jamaica?
Me personally, or?
Yeah, let's start with you personally.
Personally, COVID is my everyday life. What you call me now? I don't leave my house unless I absolutely have to. So not going outside is really okay for me. No, I don't have to make excuses as to why I can't show up for something. It's just COVID. I'm sorry, COVID. But in all seriousness, a lot of people are hurting. People have lost jobs. Businesses have folded. But I think for the most part, in terms of health-wise, I think people are dealing with it the best way they can. I think the government response has had some holes in it, but not big enough for us to fall through. So for the most part, we fared well, or we're faring well, I should say, because it's not over. Mm-hmm. Some of our citizens pulled together and did some amazing things using tech. So we're happy about that. So in general, I think we're doing okay for the most part, but certainly there has been some fallout. Although I don't think we're going to really understand the gravity or feel the full impact of it until maybe after it's over, if that's ever going to be a thing, and we really start calculating damages. I don't think we've really done a full assessment of what the damage has been yet. So maybe it's just all in my head, but from my vantage point, which isn't that great, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been seeing people recording videos and saying, oh, you know, if you're going to come to Jamaica during COVID, you're going to go through this crazy ordeal where you're going to be tested at the airport. They're going to put tracking on your phone. Is that real? The tracking on the phone?
Yes. And if you don't want to be tracked, don't come here. I'm dead serious.
Wow.
It's not that crazy an ordeal. It's literally an app. I think the government made this COVID response app, mm-hmm. and it's because you're asked to self-quarantine. You know how people are.
Yep.
Some people not gonna follow it, so it's their way of tracking to see if you are self-quarantining or if you're going out there and mixing with the public, because that way they can do contact tracing, which everybody is doing. So they say about rumors being greatly exaggerated.
Of
it's
course.
Not that, oh my God, they're tracking me. Of privacy. No, they literally need to know where you're going and what you're going to be doing. And as soon as the 14 days are over, you can delete the app and go about your business.
Right.
So persons who have come here, who have gone through it, have said it was well organized. They were happy to do it. They didn't feel any pressure. It wasn't any undue burden to them. For the most part, the response has been very positive. But you do have the alarmist people who, my rights, then don't come here. I'm very serious about that. You don't want to follow what border control says you need to do to come into our country, then don't come into our country, because Jamaicans couldn't go to the U.S. border and say we're not doing what they tell us to do to get in there.
Right.
So
yeah. I agree. I mean, I think it's amazing that they even set up a system like that to keep things under control. I think it's great, because this is out of control with these people not wearing masks all over the place, just doing whatever. Like, it's out of control now.
They don't play that here.
Yeah, I applaud it.
A Jamaican store here that says no mask, no entry, and go, I'm a Jamaican, I have rights. You're going to be standing out there with your rights, but you're not putting it there. And go out there and start making noise at the people in place and see what happened to you.
Right.
They don't play that here. Certain, they don't play certain things out here. So people understand themselves and understand what is really happening. And I think big props to the government, because they've really been on it. They have been measured in their responses for the most part, because in the early days it was a little bit touch and go.
Mm-hmm.
Our frontline responders, our doctors, our immigration people, they have all been on it. So I'm good with extra requirements, because we can't afford, we don't have the luxury of getting sick because of a pandemic. Our country is not rich. It would probably devastate our economy if this thing was to be as rampant as it is in other places. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
So it means that the measures that we put in place are probably going to be a little bit more stringent.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to give people a little bit more extra work to do. But then you can stay home. That's fine. You don't have to fly on a plane, come here.
Exactly. Right. Stay home.
Yeah.
So when would you say that you fell in love with technology? And when did you realize that you were actually good at using it or figuring it out?
Well, see, I'm naturally bright at this thing. No, but for real, it was in university. And it's not like I wasn't familiar with technology before, but I grew up in a household where I didn't get a desktop until I was in third form, which is 9th grade in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, luxuries of a first world country. And I don't necessarily like to use the term first world, but to save us some time. We didn't have those kind of luxuries here. We were still using public libraries and the school computer lab, right? So we're not a tech culture. We're not a STEM culture either. So these things were largely happening around us. Tech developed around us, and we were just like bystanders going, ooh, interesting. You see, so we were a part of the process until social media kind of happened.
Right.
And more Jamaicans started to get involved in that space. In the digital space, Jamaicans have been in tech for a long time. It's just that it wasn't that, I wouldn't say that big a deal. It's just nobody was really talking about it because that was so far removed from everyday reality.
Mm-hmm.
Me, when I was in college back in 2013, I'm a late bloomer, you see? I decided to finally complete my law degree, and I went to UTech, and I was like, but I can't afford the degree, much less the books, because one textbook can run you 20,000 Jamaican dollars, which is about 100 and something US dollars, and I'm going, no ma'am, no sir.
Yep.
So it's either pay for the degree or pay for the books, but I can't do both. So I was like, let's see what Google has to say about that. So I turned to Google to see if I could find the material, and I was able to find all the material that I needed to complete my courses, all the information I needed, because the good thing about colonialism is, it starts so weird, but trust me, I'm getting to somewhere. The good thing, in quotes, about colonialism is we still retain the same laws. At least we have the old version of their modern laws, but we still have it. So I could go on UK websites, for instance, and find out about cases, because they still use the same cases. They still use the same legal principles. So it was easier for me to go on and find the information and get the documentation that I needed to finish. And in fact, I credit Google more than some of my lecturers with graduating, and I graduated with an honors degree. So it was in my third year of university I realized that I probably am not going to end up doing law. Probably I'm not going to end up doing law. More than likely, I'm going to get into the tech field because I was so inspired by the fact that I was able to get this information, and we formed a little group and we were all sharing the information that I was able to find, and we all graduated with honors. I was like, so the information is there and people can access it if they know how to access it. And they can use that information to empower themselves. And that's what we did, and look at the success that we had. And I'm like, more people need to know about this. More people need to know about this online internet thing. Yeah, I start talking about that. So I kind of figured in third year that probably wasn't going to do the law. And then I am a very scatterbrained kind of person where I don't like mundanity. I don't like with law, especially in Jamaica, it's very practiced, ritualistic. It's the same processes over and over, and it becomes mundane, and then it gets boring. And my mind likes excitement. I'm an excitement kind of person in terms of mental excitement. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The things that get my juices flowing in my head, and I'm going, yeah, this I need to think about this some more and figure my way around this and finagle it and see how I can make it work for me. And that is another reason why I figured I wasn't going to do law. I was definitely going to the digital space because it's challenging and it's exciting, and it's always something happening, and new strategies and new platforms and new people to meet and interest groups and all sorts of stuff happening. It's never a dull moment.
No, it's not. Technology is definitely challenging and ever evolving.
Right. So I was like, I think I want to go over there where the excitement people are. I'll be over here. Thanks. So that's kind of what I did. And then technology is just evolving at this astronomical pace. So I was like, I need to be there. I need to be over there for real.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said that technology seemed to be happening around, Jamaica. So were there any type of technology classes or STEM programs at all in school when you were going to school in the younger grades?
There wasn't a focus on STEM. I can remember. I've been out of school for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But there wasn't a focus on STEM necessarily. The thing is, maths and English are compulsory subjects right across the board in Jamaica. Any school you go, these are compulsory. Science, not so much. So you started seeing where they started. I didn't have to do a computer course in high school. It wasn't a thing then. We did labs, but I guess that was that wasn't even a necessary part of the curriculum, really. This is something that the children whose parents had money did, like extra lessons. They went to labs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're starting to realize that, we need to really get on board. And we've now moved from STEM to STEAM, which the A includes now arts. Because we are very well known for our arts and our artistic and creative abilities. And they're now working on using that now to teach the STEM, which I think is brilliant. So when we were younger, it wasn't really that big of a thing. And I said technology was happening around us. It wasn't happening to us because, again, you see like how white people have the luxury of going off to study rocket science,
mm-hmm.
or going off to study virology or herbology. We didn't have that kind of luxury. It was a doctor, lawyer, policeman, or teacher, right? These were the professions. Nobody had the luxury of going off to be an architect. What was that?
Right.
Younger brother, you need to go and study something where you can actually make some money and make a living. Because we're, as a small country too, to be fair, we don't have the diverseness in industry is not here, really. So we had to pick careers that we could get a job in. You know what I mean? So is that you're going to go in government, be a politician of some sort, or be a public servant of some sort, or you're going to go into private practice as one of these recognized professions. You know what I mean? So and tech wasn't a part of that world, but our university, the University of the West Indies and UTech, don't make the tech in the name fool you. They offer courses in computer science and all sorts of stuff. But I think for the most part, our tech people are self-taught people, which I think makes them even more incredible.
Yes.
They're mostly self-taught. They're mostly people who had an interest in this thing and took that to the next level and really studied and really eked out a living for themselves doing the thing that they really want to do in what we call a non-traditional area, because tech is still really a non-traditional area in Jamaica. And I would even say, go as far as to say the Caribbean, certainly the English-speaking Caribbean. You know what I mean? You don't have no real big tech startups or tech giant companies coming out of this region. And that's for a particular... That's a pattern that you will see happening across certain countries because of the culture.
Yeah.
So that wasn't there when we were growing up, but it's certainly here now. It's here with a bang now.
Yes, it is. So you discovered this technology. You loved it. Is that what contributed to you starting your blog?
Yes, I am an informer. Big time informer. That I can't keep my mouth to myself. If I learn something, I need to tell everybody so they know it too. And I'm one of those kind of people. So once I figured out that this is a tool that we could use to empower ourselves to gain knowledge in some way, and I'm a big fan of gaining knowledge. I think I'm going to forever be a student in some way, shape, or form. I wanted other people to know that, listen, we don't have libraries anymore, really, but we do have computers, we have smartphones, we have tablets, we have laptops. You know what I mean? We have information literally at our fingertips. In this day and age, there's no reason for stupid. There's no reason for dunce because the internet did it.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to learn how to use this free tool free in terms of the information, because certainly you have to pay for the internet, but this free tool to educate ourselves, to put ourselves in a position where we can go after the things that we want to go after. What can't you do online? Who can't you be online? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For good, for better or for worse. But I just wanted everybody to know that these are the things that you can do online. You can become a social media manager. You can build a business. You can become a personal brand, be an influencer, get money to put on makeup and talk foolishness on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You can do all of these amazing things, and you can start doing it from high school. You can start doing it from college. You don't have to wait until you've completed your studies. You can start now. In fact, you should already start before you finish your studies to build out that network and to build that brand, so you have something to tap into, because we have a small labor force. It is not sustainable to think that Jamaicans can stay within our geographical borders and survive. That will not happen, especially in what's now a global space. So now that the internet has opened up global markets to us, we need to learn how to take advantage of this, because we're not going to be sustained by Jamaica alone. Yeah. And that's just the truth of it. So I wanted people to learn that. And then Brand Jamaica is such a big deal. It is such a big deal, and the market is there for all things Brand Jamaica. The interest is there for all things Brand Jamaica. Jamaica is the biggest little country in the world. You know, in the look about your Talawa kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We are one of the most popular countries on the planet. You know what I mean? And others, non-Jamaicans, have benefited from Brand Jamaica, and the people who make Brand Jamaica what it is, dust, because we're not taking advantage of the appetite that is there for the culture, for the craft, for just the people. If people could bottle the essence of Jamaica and sell it, they would.
Yeah.
That's how awesome we are. So and I don't mean to sound I don't mean to sound bombastic, but I just true.
It's true. It's true. It is what it is. I mean, come on. No lies here. So
detected. Right. So it's just about us taking advantage of what is essentially us anyway. What is essential? The essential Jamaicanness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what process online, and it has been working for white people all this time. Might as well we're getting on the act. I mean,
right? Might as well catch up.
Yeah.
So you also have this podcast, Digital Jamaica Podcast, and that's how I discovered you. And I discovered your podcast through the Caribbean Directory. So I love the podcast because you interview so many different people who are doing some really amazing and creative things, on the island. And it's just, I mean, like when I'm listening to their interviews and the things they're doing, I'm just so like inspired, like, wow, you know what I mean? And like you said earlier, these people are figuring out these things on their own. They're doing it based off of their passion. They're following something that they really love, tapping into it and expanding upon it. So tell us, what do you hope to accomplish with the content that you're curating with this podcast?
With the podcast, with the blog, with the social media platforms, there's only one intent. Well, two, educate and promote. Educate people as to what is actually happening in the space, who are the players in the space, acknowledging them, promoting them, and trying to pull information out of them. So it's a what you call it though? It's like a full circle kind of thing. So I'm giving information while promoting, and while promoting, I'm giving information, because I have a style of doing interviews where I try to pull certain information out of them. It's to who you are, how did you get started, why you got started, and advice. Because a lot of the times what's missing, we have an information challenge in this country. And again, it's because people don't know how to find that information for themselves. But what used to obtain is that you used to have what we call these information silos. It could be people or it could be institutions that have an amazing amount of information, and it used to cause you an arm and a leg and stress and headache just to pull some information out of people, or pull some information out of these institutions. Well, they don't have that kind of power anymore because internet, ta-da, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there's still information as to, okay, now that we're moving away from traditional careers and people are now going out and exploring careers in the tech space, in the digital space, what are these careers and how can I start doing it? Now, in Jamaica, people automatically think that you need a degree to do something. The internet is proving otherwise. You have, for instance, Christopher Gale. Christopher Gale dropped out of UTech in his first year because what was the point? What they were teaching him, either UTech or UA, what they were teaching him, he learned on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And before he finished 8th grade, he was getting cease and desist letters from the people who made Dragon Ball Z because he was taking their codes and remaking their games better than they were. And he was getting more traction on his games than they were. And they were upset by it. This is the kind of genius we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So I want people to know that this is an actual career. You have Jamaicans with the same experience you have, who live in the same country you live in, grew up in the similar situations that you grew up in, with the same burdens, problems, and frustrations, and look what they're doing. Look at what they've been able to accomplish. This is how they were able to do it, and this is how you can do it too. That's my goal. That has been my goal. And while they're giving you that information, I'm saying, isn't this person amazing? This is an amazing person. Y'all need to know and y'all need to support because this person is amazing. So it's always those two things is my focus. Educating or informing and promoting these people because they deserve to be seen. And these are not stories you're going to see in the paper or on TV for the most part unless they do something ultra amazing. You don't have to do something ultra amazing for you to be an amazing person in a particular space, innovating in a particular space. You know what I mean? Just the fact that you got on and you were able to accomplish certain things, I think make you amazing, and people need to know who you are. So my thing was spotlight these people, shout them out, acknowledge them, and then get information out of them while you're doing that, so other people can come into the space. Because you know, once Jamaican get in our space,
yeah,
you know,
it's over. It's owned. Yeah, I love it. And you're right, because when I'm listening to these interviews, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And you have so many different people. Like you had one girl who she does like vegan meals or something like that. And that was so interesting. So I started following her page, and I'm not really a vegan, but I like to see that she's baking these things. And I'm like, maybe I'll try to bake that, you know?
good.
It's healthier, you know? So I love that. And I remember an earlier interview where you had this guy and he was doing some type of app with the taxi drivers. And I was like, oh my God, that's ingenious. Like, that's so good, you know? So I love what you're doing, and I think it's amazing. And that's kind of the same thing with my podcast. I love highlighting people who are everyday people who are just living their passion and doing amazing things. And like you said, they won't be featured anywhere, but there's people right next door to you that are just doing great things for the culture, for the world, and you're not even aware of it.
Yeah, not even aware of it. Because, like, for instance, you know, I'm watching CNN and I'm seeing they have these guys on there who make 3D face masks, and I'm going, yeah, y'all have never heard of Lauren Peart and Yakini One and brand, because these people are bulk manufacturing 3D masks, like pumping them out in the thousands on a daily basis. What's this? This not. Come on, if you guys want me to recommend some people to talk to, since you clearly need content, have some recommendations. Just say it. I mean, they've now moved past making face masks to making sophisticated medical equipment with 3D.
Wow.
3D printed. Listen, something's happening over here.
That is great.
Yeah. These are things that it takes big tech companies years to develop and patent, and weeks. It took them literally weeks to design the thing, get it patented, put it into production, and moving it by bulk. I mean, they literally, the group is called Citizens Response Jamaica, and they've literally undergirded the government response to COVID, really bolstering it, because what they did, it's a group of professionals right across industry. So you have doctors, you have lawyers, you have people who are seamstresses, people who are fashion designers, people who are in tech like Yakini. These people all came together, and I mean, there are over 20 of them. And they all came together and they decided that this is what they were going to do. And Yakini and Lauren lead the charge. Yakini is the owner of a company called Pre-Labs. They make a device called Power Pre, where you can remotely monitor your electricity, because electricity bill in Jamaica is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So you can remotely monitor your electrical devices, shut them off, make sure that you're saving energy, whatever. So Yakini is another prodigy who came out of the University of the West Indies, who was in robotics, and when me tell you, him just look like bright. It's unfair, but wow. He's naturally just genius. And I mean, within weeks, there's an interview up on the blog now with Yakini, and he's like, and he's so nonchalant about it, which is like, okay, so you're just a genius, all right? Sure, no problem.
Right.
We just had it up and running, and we gave this away, and now we're doing this and that. I'm sitting there with my jaw to the floor, like, oh my God, mm-hmm. Do you realize what you're saying? You have no idea how amazing you are. This is ridiculous. So, talent dash at Jamaica, mm-hmm. and sometimes what is needed is an opportunity. Jamaicans say a bus. They just need an opportunity to express that talent. And once they're given that opportunity to express that talent, this is what happens. Once that talent is nurtured, and once that there's an outlet, you'll be surprised to see what can really happen. But we're not short of tech geniuses. We're not short of digital geniuses out here. What is missing is opportunity and information.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
So the podcasting world, how is your podcast received in Jamaica? Do you feel like people are catching on to the podcasting thing? Because even here, some people, I'll say, oh, do you listen to my podcast? And they're like, oh, what's that? I don't really know what a podcast is, or how do I get it on my phone? So do you run into people like that as well?
Yeah, and I think it's probably worse. I'm not sure where you are, but I think it's worst here because podcasting on a whole in the Caribbean is a relatively new medium. And by relatively, I mean yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Medium. So a lot of people weren't really getting into podcasts like that. The good news is that more people are starting to get into it. So I'll go places and you talk and go, hi, my name is Kadia Francis from Jamaica, and it's like, oh, the podcast. I was like, yeah. Right on, one person.
Right.
So people are slowly becoming aware, and then for some of these people that I interview, it's the first time any digital or any media, and I put media in heavy quotations,
mm-hmm.
any media is asking them to tell their story, or they're sharing their story publicly. So they will share it all across their social media platforms, and then their audience is going to go and listen to it, and they're going to share it. So slowly but surely, we're building an audience. Slower than I would like, but still building an audience. And what I like is that people like you can discover Jamaica through the podcast. So it's out in the world. It's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. Please subscribe and download every episode. Thank you. And you can discover what is happening. You can jump on and you can hear what Jamaicans are doing in this space. And this is my third podcast interview where the person found me through my podcast. So that is amazing. And it's also, outside of that, on a personal level, it has been a really good brand building tool. And this is like a pro tip for your listeners, because I know you know. Having a podcast is a great way to share your expertise with an audience. It's also a great way to build your own brand recognition, stamp your authority in a particular subject matter. And I can really say that it has really helped the Digital Jamaica brand to grow as fast as it did, or as fast as it is growing. It is now becoming a recognized brand, certainly in the online space. So I credit the podcast with that, and I credit the quality of people who have come on the podcast. Because when I just started, nobody knew who I was, and they said yes. They said yes because they saw the vision and they recognized what I was trying to do. So because of that, their faith in the project kind of really expanded out into the universe, I guess, and now more people are beginning to listen and trust the source, mm-hmm. and come back and subscribe and stuff. But slowly but surely, we're getting there as we put more effort into promoting it, and as the platform grows, the blog grows, the podcast grows. But I want to tell you that the podcast isn't even the proudest part of this entire platform for me. Can I say what
Absolutely.
The proudest part is for me?
Yes, tell me.
People to watch series because the platform actually started with the people to watch series. That's the first thing I launched on the blog, was the Digital Jamaica people to watch. And at the top of each year, we've only been doing it 2 years now. At the top of each year, what we do is we curate a list of Jamaicans, whether living at home or in the diaspora, who are doing amazing things across 6 categories. I think it's tech. You have tech, change agents, media, creative arts, business, and there's another one. There's 6 of them. I keep forgetting one. I keep forgetting one, but there's 6 categories, and we curate a list and we put it out. And I am so proud Yakini was on that list. Before Yakini was out in the spotlight, Yakini was on that list. Several persons who are now being given national recognition first appeared on that list. And I that reinforces to me that I have a good eye. That's
mm-hmm.
one to pick up myself.
Yep.
So reinforce that I have a good eye, and 2, that the platform is moving in the right direction. because some of our members have appeared in Flair magazine, which is like, what is the Flair magazine equivalent to in the States? It's like one of those society magazines where...
Oh, like Forbes, maybe like, not society, not Forbes, because Forbes is more money driven. So like, Vanity Fair is like a,
a Vanity Fair or like a People's magazine.
Right.
Those things. So recently, or one of our nominees, Alexandra Daly, who was in our very first cohort of people, she had a massive spread in Flair recently because she's an excellent mobile photographer. So we are proud that a lot of these people that we have identified as being awesome, they're now getting the recognition, and a lot of them first appeared on our list and have acknowledged having first appeared on our list. So we're happy. We're going to continue to promote and inform and educate as much as we possibly can, and see how many more winners we can identify. So that is, I'm proudest of that, because that was started out of frustration. That was started out of, oh my God, look at this amazing person. Why have I never heard of you? How come I don't see you in the papers or on the TV? And then you see the same faces in the media over and over again. Every event, every speech, every program. And you're like, if you tell me to love myself and grow from within one more time, I need information, okay? Let's bro. I need information.
You're so passionate about it.
Yes, because these people grow from love. That's great. That's wonderful. How is that going to make me money again?
Right.
Yeah. That's why I paid $4,000 to come to this bloody conference. That's really all I want to hear. Okay? I don't care about your panini bread. Really don't.
Yeah. You have to be careful with those conferences. You have to make sure because, like you said, sometimes it's,
I'm here to hold hands and kumbaya with you. I really came here for information, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the frustration started. So I was like, all right, since nobody's going to step in and fill that gap, and instead of sitting down and complaining about it, because I've been wanting to do this since 2015, so instead of continuing to sit down and complain about it and bitch and moan and complain, go do it yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
And I had to overcome this whole, so why you think you should be the one to do it? And who are you to tell people? But I literally had to overcome and still have to overcome that every day. And I'm just talking what I know, talking to the persons who I know can offer really good information, and I just leave it right there. Not purporting to be an expert or a guru or anything like that. I'm literally just giving you the information as I know it. And if I don't know it, I'm going to get you the people who know it that can give you that information. So my platform is a free exchange of information and promotion of people who deserve to be seen and to be heard, because they are the ones who are actually providing value.
Love it. Let's see. This is going to be a tough question. Of all your guests, who intrigued you the most?
Yikes. Intrigued. Can I get the intrigued? Oh.
Because I don't want to say who was your favorite, because, you love all your guests. I get it.
Well,
but
I love all of them because some of them was a pain in the behind. but who intrigued me the most? I think the person who, not necessarily intrigued, but the person who has stuck with me the most, and it's two people. So there's Christopher, because I always talk about Christopher, because Christopher I just think is amazing. Just because of his, I don't know. And you see, these genius people are always the most unassuming. He's just the most unassuming kind of guy. You never know that he has that kind of brain in his head.
Mm-hmm. And what does he do specifically?
He is the owner of a company called Gizada Software Limited. He's the one I was telling you about who dropped out and just studied on his
own.
Aussie thing. That's him. Christopher Gale.
I feel like I listened to his interview too. I think I did.
And Gavin Dennis is another one. Because Gavin started out, I think Gavin said he started out in insurance or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
and he just dabbled in IT, and then he decided to just literally go for it. And now he's a cybersecurity expert based in Germany. I'm like, look at you, though.
Isn't that just crazy, though? Like how these people just have these innate abilities to...
I know he has a foundation where he's helping people to go study to get them certification and giving away books, and he has a cybersecurity community that he co-founded with I think her name is Tanisha, and they have over almost 200 Caribbean people in the it's called a Caribbean Cyber Support Team, and they have almost 200 people, and I'm one of them. Don't ask me what I'm doing in the people in the group, because half of the time they talk, I have no idea what they're talking about. But I was like, yeah, that's great. They invited me in the group, so I'm there, and they're such a supportive community of people. You can come to them with a problem and they will brainstorm, and then the other person whose interview has not been released yet is Kamir Ricketts. Kamir is get this, computational biologist.
Whoa.
Now, 4 years ago, that wasn't a thing. 5 years ago, that wasn't a thing. So he's one of the first set of scientists who have now combined these two very independent scientific areas, so computer-based and biology. And now he's using data and analysis of data to help in his biological studies. Listen, that's as much as I can tell you what that is. But it is amazing to hear him talk about it. And he's like 10, and he's from Mobe. He's not 10. I call everybody who's young 10. He's in his early 20s, and he's from Mobe. He didn't come from a rich family, nothing. He literally was a genius from school, and he got his scholarships, and his scholarships have taken him this far. He's now a PhD candidate.
Wow.
In computational biology. He created an app the other day for COVID.
Jesus.
Who are you?
Right.
For you, though, he builds the most amazing websites. I was like, why you want to have like 4 talents and we just have 1? Where do you get off? So these are the people that amaze me. There's Javon Davis. Javon Davis studied computer science up at UA, and before Javon finished his computer science degree, he was being recruited by Lyft and Amazon and these people, and then he ended up working for, I forgot what the name of the company is, who own WordPress. He was on the Gutenberg team. He was responsible for building out the WordPress app right here in Jamaica. He did not leave Jamaica. He was refused a working visa to the United States, which means he was in Jamaica while he was doing all this, mind you. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And he got recruited to Apple from Jamaica. He's now a software engineer at Apple in Canada.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
That's astounding.
Yeah. Apple stole him away from the company who owns WordPress.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? And you hear these stories, and I'm going, I have never heard this in my life. How is it that you're not on prime time talking to people? How come you're not on, Smile Jamaica or CVM at Sunrise, all these major programs? Nobody knows these stories. Nobody knows these stories. And imagine being a young guy, a young man, a young boy in Jamaica or a young girl in Jamaica, listening to these people talking about how they went from ordinary, everyday, regular lives to these extraordinary positions. And it may not be extraordinary to a person who is listening to this, but I can tell you that for a Jamaican to be recruited by one of the biggest tech companies in the world, from another big tech company, like multinational tech company, and being headhunted and recruited by several other multinational tech companies is a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal even for people that live here. That's a big deal because those jobs are not easy to come by. So, yeah.
And that's another reason why it is so amazing to us, because we understand how rough the competition is. And I mean, Javon went up against Harvard graduates, Ivy Leaguers.
Yep.
When he left Jamaica and went to do the interview for Lyft, he got the job over Ivy Leaguers and couldn't take up the job because they wouldn't give him a visa. And instead of being sad and down in the dumps about it and frustrated by it, he decided, no. You know what Javon did? Javon said, okay, so I'm just going to start making stuff, coding, and I'll send it out to some companies and see. And it happens that the company he sent it to was WordPress. I don't remember what he said he was making in his own time, a project that he took on for himself. He was making it for WordPress, and then one day he just decided to just message WordPress and say, hey, I'm doing this. Are you guys interested? And they're like, yes. And we will pay you for it. And he's like, well, great. I mean, this was a pastime hobby this guy was doing. And WordPress was like, yeah, we would definitely be interested in that. Sure, let's do this. And within days, he was working for them from home in Jamaica, being flown out every quarter for quarterly meetings all over the world. And I'm going, what is this? He's sitting there like, what? And he's just talking nonchalantly, like, yeah, that happened, Yeah, not in a. I swear, sometimes these people don't recognize how amazing they are and how amazing what they are.
You know what? That's good. That's good that they're like that. You know what I mean? Because it just makes it even better, and you just feel so much more happier that they have these opportunities and that they're not, jackasses. You know what I'm saying? Who just driven by their ego and,
Because Javon runs a program for US students, and he has managed to get several of them jobs at Google, internships at Google, internships at Apple. He has been able to do that for them. Mm-hmm. So these are people who are already giving back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And already being an example of what can happen when you. I mean, it takes a certain strength of character, I think, to be faced with, because almost all of these stories had a point. Like, for instance, Twain Richardson, who before he owned his company, and that his company is one of the, I think it's the only post-production company in Jamaica. And I think it's either the first or one of only two post-production companies in the English-speaking Caribbean. And he does visual effects and all them excitement things there. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
He was selling socks and digital credit on the phone, on the road side.
Oh, my gosh.
Before he started this company, how he got the job was he lied and told her that he knew how to edit videos. There was a program called RETV. It was a very popular cultural kind of music program, and they were looking for an editor. And he went there and lied and said, "Yeah, man, I know how to do editing." No, he didn't, and messed up an entire roll of film. And the good thing was that he had somebody, the manager of that company, said, "I kick him out." Took him aside and taught him how to edit. That was the boss. That was the boss he needed. That was the opportunity he needed.
Yep.
Went from there, to now owning one of the only post-production company. And you look at these things and you're going, I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's definitely destiny and divine intervention. So I love it.
And strength of character.
Mm-hmm. That too, yeah. All of it.
Man, what it needed was an opportunity and an outlet. And look what happened.
Yep. Just an opportunity.
So there's several stories that really intrigued me to hear them really play out. And I can go through so many of them. And every time you think about it, you're just going, wow, you are such an amazing person. You don't even know. You don't realize how awesome.
Yeah.
But it's my job to make them realize that, my youth, this is not ordinary. I'm hoping you realize that this is not ordinary. I'm just here to tell you that this is not ordinary, okay? So, yeah, just as long as you know.
Yeah, it definitely is not. So what would you say is your favorite platform, and why is it your favorite, and what is your least favorite?
In terms of social media platform?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite social media platform right now has to be Instagram. Actually, no, I take that back. Twitter.
Really?
I hated Twitter. Twitter. I hated Twitter. But what I realized over the weekend was that, and you see, that's why I love my people so much. Jamaicans have a way of taking over people things and using it in a way that I don't think the people realize that it could be used. A lot of Jamaicans have now taken to Twitter to voice, to raise concern, to have national conversations. I mean, not talk about conversations like Democrats versus Republicans, and I'm not talking about conversations like that. I'm talking about conversations that have national impact. And starting these conversations, and they're making themselves heard to the point where the press is picking it up, the media is picking it up, and the government is listening. They've been able to accomplish so much. They have been able to get people to listen. They have been able to make so much social change to institutions that they weren't paying us any mind before. Now they have to at least listen. Like, I'll give you an example. Over the weekend, there was a massive debate going on. It was like an entire weekend about low wages in Jamaica. And why is it that so many companies in Jamaica are so disproportionate in terms of wages? The truth is, they don't pay well. Businesses in Jamaica, companies in Jamaica don't pay well. Employees are not paid well. And that was a discussion that was sparked. And it just, what I said, it went blazing across Twitter. And and the conversation was so meaningful and so deep and so substantial. And you had some business people who came on and I was like, well, we didn't even know that this was a thing. We didn't know that there's a wage issue in Jamaica. And I was so taken aback. Like, I was like, you are a big business person in Jamaica and you operating in this space, employing Jamaicans, and you didn't realize that them couldn't feed themselves and that you weren't paying them enough to feed them family. It's amazing to me. So Twitter right now is up there because of how it has been able to generate conversation, sustainable, meaningful conversation that has been having a national impact and that is forcing people to listen. And now the everyday regular Jamaican can contribute to that conversation because, you know, the electricity company came on and said something that was very disparaging. And I mean, within hours, they had to take that down because people are like, you're not going to talk to us like that. The days are over when you get to talk to us like that. Not happening today. And they had to take it down. So Twitter is my favorite platform right now because Jamaicans are really doing the thing over there in terms of conversation. My next favorite platform is Instagram because that's kind of where we're based and it's a little bit more interactive. Well, it's not as interactive as Twitter, but we do have a community base over on Instagram. Instagram is the second largest social media platform in Jamaica and it's out to surpass Facebook in that regard. That is the most popular page. Right now, Facebook is my least favorite page because Mark Zuckerberg is making it very hard.
Yes.
Any kind of engagement over there as a brand. And I'm just not sure what his problem is.
Yeah.
So it has been very hard to gain traction on Facebook. Just in general, brands in general are complaining about the same thing. And if they think they're not getting traction in foreign, imagine us over here.
Yep.
So it's my least favorite platform right now. But I think the platform that I'm really starting to get into is LinkedIn.
Yeah. For you, that would be a great platform.
Yeah, man. I am a hypocrite because I keep talking about the value of LinkedIn and why everybody should have a profile on LinkedIn, and I really bastardize the platform. I have no LinkedIn strategy at the moment, and I'm really thinking because I posted a video on LinkedIn and the amount of traction that video got, the amount of response and the amount of opportunities that came out of that. I was like, you've been sleeping on LinkedIn.
Yep.
The same thing you tell people not to do, you've been doing. Really now going, okay, so I need to sit down and plan out a proper strategy for LinkedIn because I see where there are opportunities over there to literally supercharge growth, personal growth as well as growth for the Digital Jamaica platform.
Absolutely. So tell me 5 things, if you have 5 things, you would like to see change in Jamaica related to technology.
I want to see Jamaicans start taking social media a lot more seriously because I don't think we've really realized how powerful a tool social media is. And I use myself an example. 2 years ago, nobody knew who Kadia Francis was. Nobody knows what Digital Jamaica was. Digital Jamaica was literally an idea that that was germinating in my head for years. And I literally decided that I was just going to start talking. And I built a Instagram page, and I built a Facebook page, and I kind of spread myself all around social media and just started talking. And the more I talked and the more people related is, the bigger the community got. And now I am doing presentations. I'm on your podcast talking to you. I'm about to launch a business arm, about to actually monetize workshops and stuff and other things. So take social media seriously. It's again, you can be anybody on social media. You can build a brand, you can build a business, you can build a business off being yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It can be an influential brand, an influential brand of just you and, right? So it's possible there once you've crafted a really good message that is relatable and that people can connect with, you'll find success over there. And even if you're not trying to build a brand on there, you can find opportunities on there that now translate offline because social media isn't virtual anymore. Opportunities on that platform translates into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you now have social media personalities that making more money, and they're bigger brands than traditional personalities that like on TV. They're bigger than some celebrities,
I know, it's crazy. And I see a lot of Jamaican people on there doing their thing, just being themselves. And they have a lot of followers. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's real.
So, number 1 thing, start taking social media seriously. Number two thing, your digital identity is no longer separate from your physical identity or from your real life identity. There's no separation of the two things anymore. So who you are online is who people expect you to be in person. Even if it's an unfair expectation, that's just what it is. So you have to be very careful what you do in the space. You have to be very careful what you say, what you repost, the conversations you're having, and who you're having the conversations with. Because your employers are going to go on there and check you out to see what kind of person you are in terms of character. It's a thing. They can do it. I don't think it's a bad thing for them to do it. They're going to, because it's the only way they can see you in your quote unquote natural habitat, because your inhibitions are not there. So this is who I am without inhibitions, behind my computer, behind my phone. And it's kind of sometimes a good way, it's a glimpse into your personality. So don't pretend to be something you're not online. And then when people book you up in a real life, you're not that person. You have problems.
Yep.
Have problems. So that's number 2. Number 3, get a website. Get yourself a nice little one-pager website. Even if you can't afford the big elaborate excitement, get yourself a little one-pager website. Put up a nice little picture of yourself up there. Tell people what you do, who you are, where you do, and what kind of opportunities you're looking for. You'll be surprised. Build a digital resume. That's it. So get a little one-pager website. You can't, your pocket can't reach us yet. That's fine. You can get a free one from Google.
Mm-hmm.
Google give you a free one-pager website. You can't. You don't want to go through all that trouble. Set up a LinkedIn account.
Yes.
Set up a LinkedIn account, but build a digital identity. Put yourself out there. You don't have to be in the spotlight, but you have to be in a position where people can find you, and the opportunities that you're looking for can find you. It is not something, it's not serendipitous, it's not random, it's not a buck-up thing. It has to be something that is planned. It has to be something that is strategic, and you have to put yourselves in positions where you can be found. So that's number 3. Number 4 is start finding interest groups and communities online that you can grow and engage and build in. You're interested in tech? I can't tell you how much tech communities there are. You know what I mean? I can't tell you, listen, there's a Harry Potter community. There's a community for people who like hairy feet. There is a community for everybody with all sorts of interests. Yeah. Find one that's productive. Find one that is informative. Find one where you're comfortable, and build your base there. Become an authority in that space. Dominate that space. Learn from the people them there and build a community there. You'll be surprised how that translates as well. Number 4. Was that number 4 or number 5?
Yeah, no, that was number 4.
Number 5, the University of YouTube is free and open to everybody. There is nothing you can't learn on YouTube. Go get you some information and some knowledge off of YouTube. So you can go on there, you can watch your comedy videos, and you can watch your whatever, but make sure that you're going on there and you're getting the information. No, what is going to be the difference between good information and bad information is you being to recognize which is which. But once it have a TEDx on it, you should be fine. Right?
Right.
You can listen to what it is that you're saying, and you can always verify the information with a simple Google search. Yeah. So YouTube, there's no reason for you to be stupid in 2020. YouTube is there and it's free. If it's not YouTube, we have a blog there that can teach you something. Information are dash online. There's an abundance of information online. You want to learn to do something, you're trying to reinvent yourself, you are retired, you're in your 60s, but you're old, but you're not cool, as Jamaicans say. You're old and cool. And you want to reinvent yourself in your retirement. You want to write a book. You want to go on to do some online course. You want to teach. And you want to build up an online course site where you can teach people what you know. You've been doing this for years. You have an expertise in it. You want to teach it. You want to write a book. You want to create educational materials. Do it. Do it. You can find out how to do it. The information is online. Teach yourself how to do it and get started. Get that idea out of your head and start planning and launch it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And you can use YouTube. You can use blogs. There's HubSpot. Google have free courses. HubSpot have free courses. Buffer have free courses. Free courses on EDX. Free courses, they're everywhere.
Yep. That's right.
And reinvent yourself. You're never too old and you're never too young either. Just, yeah.
Yeah. And listen to the podcast because they're, right? You get the motivation, ideas, connecting with people who are doing some of the same things that you are dreaming about doing. Definitely a good place to pick up some additional information.
Download the Google podcast app if you have Google. If not, it's already on your iPhone because they stuffed that phone full of all sort of stuff. So you will have the iTunes app on your phone. Find some podcasts, listen to some podcasts. You're into tech. You have Wired, which is a good podcast. You have there's so many different tech podcasts out there that you can listen to with like really good information. You're into social media. There's a Social Media Examiner. That's a podcast I listen to almost every day. There's a Social Media Examiner. If you're into branding and marketing and stuff like that, I have a hell of a long podcast list of people that I listen to. So find a podcast, check it out, listen if you like it. And on your way to work or whether you take the bus or you drive or whatever, turn on the podcast. It's literally just audio. You don't have to do much with it. It's very low energy.
Yep.
It doesn't require much of you except to just listen.
That's
and
it.
You can listen at your own time. No excitement, no hurry. Take your time, listen, consume the information.
Right. Pause, come back, do whatever you need to do.
Right.
So do you feel like you are doing purpose-driven work here with what you're building? And if you do, what part of it do you feel good about? What part of it feeds your soul?
The fact that I'm educating people has been the number one motivating factor for me, because creating content is hard. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Creating content is not the easiest thing. Creating quality content, even worse.
Right.
And what happened, which is kind of a good thing and kind of not sometimes, is that fortunately for me, I think my superpower is being hella resourceful. I am not, is it Adobe or Adobe?
Well, Adobe?
I'm not an Adobe girl, not in the least. I think Adobe is the devil's work because I don't understand.
I hate that program.
It has to be so freaking hard.
Yeah, it is.
You can literally just create a button that can just press the button abracadabra, but no, y'all want to be difficult. But okay, fine. So I have tried Adobe. It has not worked for me. My brain can't cross it. So I have had to figure out other ways to make content. Now, what usually happens for persons who have had to really get deep into this thing, try to understand it, turn it inside out, upside down to figure it out, is that they tend to know it a little bit better than others. So the good thing for me is I understand content. I know content now because I've had to deal with it all this time, and I've had to figure out how to make quality content that is very information packed but not boring and going to put people to sleep.
Right.
And, and then because of that, people now expect quality content. So I can't really throw nothing cheap out there. They're going to go, sorry. They're spoiled over on that platform. Them rather me not post anything and post foolishness because them are tempted to take it down.
Yep, they will.
So hype over there. So they've come to expect quality. So anything I'm doing, whether it's quality or not, they automatically imbue it with quality, which is a good thing for me sometimes. Sometimes it works, sometimes not so much. But because it's informative and because the number one compliment you can give me was that I learned something or I got something out of it, or, something like that.
Yes.
That's a compliment you can give me, because for the entire thing, I kid you not, the foundation of every single thing I do over here has been information, give information, to the point where I had people who were marketers that come to me and go, but why are you giving away so much information? You should be selling this, you should be selling that. I was like, well, I don't know how to sell. That's one. I don't like selling. 2 and 3, why not? When I have a course, if the course is for sale, I'll tell people that the course is for sale. But in the meantime, people need to know. So why not? And then I read something that says, when you learn something, you give it away.
Right.
And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. See, genius. So that has been the most rewarding thing for me. I cannot keep things to myself because it is so important for people to know. Now Jamaica is really involved in this national conversation about, digital economy and turning to the digital space so more Jamaicans can, build income streams and build businesses and earn some money. They don't have access to global markets. There are things that they can do that they wouldn't have been able to do if it was not for these digital tools and these digital platforms. So going, yes, we've been telling you, but COVID come and kick in the face, but we'll take it. We will take it. And now people are talking about, oh, no, you can learn online, 30-year-old technology. No, that's fine. And we're getting excited about technology that's 10, 20 years old, but we'll take it. We'll take it because you know why? At least they're starting to realize what the potential is.
Exactly.
And if you can say that there's a positive out of COVID for Jamaica, that has been it. It literally kicked us in the teeth, and we're now going, all right, we're now fully awake. And we're now fully understanding what is really happening, because the mad scramble that happened to get online with some of these businesses, it was funny to watch, but a lot of us ate a decent food off of it. It was funny to watch, but now they know.
So how is Zoom and stuff like that down there? Are you guys able to connect to a Zoom, conference and those things?
Zoom is going to be the national app of Jamaica. I mean, I think Zoom got a lot of business. I think Zoom now knows where Jamaica is. Because just about every conference, every class, everything is on Zoom.
Nice.
So, yes. There was a noticeable uptick with Zoom usage in Jamaica over the last couple months.
Good.
But yeah, we're now starting to use these tools. We're now starting to employ them in different ways. I know you have institutions that are now invested in people learning how to use digital platforms. So last month or the month before, we were involved in several workshops for different organizations teaching their staff how to social media customer service. We were teaching marketing strategies. We were teaching about how to set up your online, how to get started with your online presence and building your digital identity. I don't know how many talks I've done in the last two months, because now people are interested in learning about it. And this is another thing I will say too, the fact that I was positioning myself from before, because nobody expected this pandemic. So the fact that we were positioning ourselves before, not necessarily because it was like, oh, so pandemic gonna come and we're gonna take advantage, but if an opportunity did hit where we were able to be in a position where people could call on our expertise, that's what happened with COVID. And since then, the platform has grown astronomically, because now everybody knows who Monique McIntosh is. Everybody knows who Kadia Francis is now. Well, within the space, right?
Right.
Now, parlay that into a blog, a podcast, and I have a popular IG live on our radio show.
Nice. I love it.
Right. And with every single new platform that we get on, information driven. Because the radio show is a tech and digital show where we give information and talk to people who can give information. It's the same kind of format. So it's always highlight, promoting, and informing. Always.
Yep. I love it. That's amazing. Congratulations on the work that you are doing, because it's important. And I think that it's just amazing. So this is the Oh Hell No podcast. I always ask my guests to share an Oh Hell No moment. And an Oh Hell No moment can be a positive moment. It can be a negative moment. It's a moment where something might happen. Someone might say something. You might be in the middle of something and something happens to derail whatever it is that you have going on. And the first thought is, oh, hell no. So I want you to share a moment that you have experienced that actually taught you something or changed your perspective on something in life.
I don't know what has happened, but there has been an emotional maturity that has happened. I'm not sure what triggered it, but I know that because of it, I've been able to cope with a lot of things. I am an anxious person by nature. I also suffer with depression, and I get stressed real easily. But right before COVID, I was, battling with this whole imposter syndrome thing, and every now and again I get into that place where I feel like, why are you talking about this? Who are you? Why should people listen to you? I get into that space every now and again. But before May, I was working. I had a job. And COVID hit, and my boss was pretending as if this thing wasn't happening. And we were expected to come to work every day, and we were expected to function as if nothing was happening. And I didn't see a concern for me. And, I said in a live that we did that, listen, some of you are going to realize that your bosses really don't care about you. A lot of Jamaicans, a lot of people globally are going to realize that their companies just really don't care about them. The bottom line is always going to be how they can make money, and they will do it at your detriment. And I was kind of feeling that way, like, this person just didn't care about my health. They didn't care how I was doing. They didn't care if I was coping well, because COVID is not just a physical thing. It's mental too.
Mm-hmm.
It has mental effects. And this person just wasn't caring. And then I wasn't mobile. I'm not mobile. I don't drive. So I had to be taking public transport. And you're going, but I am way more exposed than you. And you seem to just not care. And at one point, it came down to the decision. It was either go to work and put myself at risk or quit and probably not going to be able to pay my bills and probably have to go move back in with my dad or something. But I was like, oh, hell no. You're not going to act as if this is that thing, and you're not going to act as if I don't have a legitimate concern. Because when we're trying to raise concerns, this person was hella dismissive, like, we're overreacting. I was like, oh, hell no. That's not going to work for me. And I quit.
Good for you.
I quit, and I have since got this radio show, have a business partner, appeared on a national TV show, not a national TV show, appeared on a national station on one of their most popular programs, been giving speeches and presentations left, right, and center, been growing my business. We're still in the growing phase. We've not hit profit yet, but we're still in the growing phase. About to launch another enterprise, again geared at informing people about the digital space. So many things have happened since I have let go. Since I let go of that and the fear of all that has to bring. Sometimes I'm sitting here going, how the hell am I going to pay my bills this month? But it works out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I let go. I wouldn't have been able to grab these other opportunities if I was still holding on to this other thing in a space where obviously this person didn't care what was happening to me over here. So, you know what I mean? So that was my oh hell no, moment. Whereas, like, listen, I am a human being. With dignity, and I expect to be treated as such. And you are not going to pretend as if I don't have some kind of work, and that your job is more important than my health. And I let that go. And so many things have happened positively since then.
I love that story. That's a great oh hell no moment. And just so you know, we all suffer from imposter syndrome. So I feel the same way in different aspects of my life. So it's not just you. Keep doing what you're doing, girl. It's great. And people need it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No problem. So it was such a pleasure having you on the podcast. And I will be watching to see what happens with your empire, because I know it's going to grow. It's going to be good. And I definitely love listening to the podcast. So I will continue to listen, put everything in the show notes so that people can check you out. And as you grow, don't forget about me, girl. Come back to this podcast. Come back and drop some more knowledge. All right.
Come to CVS for immunity support. From hand wipes to vitamins that are third-party tested. Plus free flu shots for the whole family. Visit CVS today. No-cost flu shots with most insurance. Restrictions apply. Visit cvs.com and cvs.com/tested for details.
Shopping should be fun, but that's tough when you're worried about credit. Aaron's makes it quick and easy to shop for furniture, electronics, and appliances. Before you go to a store, head to apply.aarons.com to discover your leasing power. You'll immediately know how much you're approved to lease to own. Apply from your phone or computer, then visit your participating Aaron's store to shop top brands like Samsung, GE, Ashley, and HP. You can shop with the confidence of knowing you're already approved. Aaron's makes it easy to get what you need when you need it with free delivery and setup for all lease agreements. With affordable and flexible payments, you can pay little by little until it's yours. You own it. Aaron's. Easy, beautiful, affordable. Approval is valid only at a signed store location. Approval is not guaranteed. Some restrictions apply.